Secretary Maharaj would be coming, later, he said. So we'll start because it's 6 o'clock now, we should not wait. And so we're going to start now. And I welcome, all of you, the distinguished members of the audiences, for coming for this talk. This is our, we start our these sessions by giving a short introductions to the speaker, and then as you know, that there will be question and answer sessions and discussions and all those things after he finishes in 50 minutes or 1 hour. And that will last for another 15 minutes or something like that. Oh, okay. You cannot hear me. I'm sorry, there's a holding it here. I should be a politician because they speak very well in the mic. In the TV, I see all the time. We'll begin our sessions now of Vivekananda Science Circle. Today's topic is Quanta Vedanta, in search of string theory physics in ancient Indian thought. The speaker is Pinaki Ganguly, an author and independent researcher in the fields of science, philosophy, and Indology. And he's a good author, though. His books are well researched, and I'm sure that you will enjoy that one. But although his basic degree is in commerce, but he did remarkably well, in getting knowledge in various fields, various complicated fields, and his thirst for knowledge, particularly, I should say, thirst for knowledge, drove him to acquire remarkable expertise in the fields of spirituality, science, and reality. He has a book written, well thought out book is written also, and he has other books also. Hope you will enjoy his lecture and participate in the discussions that will follow after the talk. And so I'll just, the short introductions, I'll finish it. And I will ask him to come to the stage and start giving the talk. Thank you. I'm very sorry that one thing I forgot, that Shayak will give some introduction, some write-up about this particular talk, which is in memory, right? It's a memorial lecture. Okay.
Namaskar, everyone. Though the talk is in English, but the write-up that has been given, the name of the endowment today we are having is Dr. Arun Kumar Sharma and Dr. Archana Sharma. So on their name, so we are dedicating this hour, but the write-up is given in Bengali, and I take the freedom of assuming that most of us present in the Shivanananda hall were Bengali, so I will read out the write-up, and after that we will directly go on to the lecture. Dr. Arun Kumar Sharma. অর্চনা দেবীর স্বামী ডক্টর অরুণ কুমার শর্মা 1924 খ্রিস্টাব্দের 31শে ডিসেম্বর জন্মগ্রহণ করেন। পিতা চারুচন্দ্র ও মাতা শোভাময়ী দেবী, তিনি কলকাতা বিশ্ববিদ্যালয়ের উদ্ভিদবিদ্যা বিভাগের প্রধান ছিলেন। 1955 খ্রিস্টাব্দে তিনি ডিএসসি হন। স্যার রাসবিহারী ঘোষ প্রফেসর হন 1969 খ্রিস্টাব্দে। অনন্য ব্যক্তিত্ব এবং পাণ্ডিত্যের তিনি অধিকারী ছিলেন। তাঁর অধীনে 60 জন ছাত্রছাত্রী পিএইচডি করেছেন এবং 10 জন ডিএসসি করেছেন। তাঁরই সুযোগ্য সহধর্মিণী ডক্টর অর্চনা শর্মা। তাঁর প্রতিষ্ঠিত সেন্টার অফ অ্যাডভান্সড স্টাডি সিএএস ইন সেল অ্যান্ড ক্রোমোজোম রিসার্চ সেন্টার ভারতে প্রথম। পদ্মভূষণ সম্মানেও তিনি ভূষিত হন। সর্বভারতীয় বিজ্ঞানী হিসাবে বহুমান্য ও মার্গদর্শী বিজ্ঞানী শ্রী অরুণ কুমার শর্মা 6 জুলাই 2017 খ্রিস্টাব্দে প্রয়াত হন। আমাদের মধ্যে অনেকেই এখানে যারা উপস্থিত রয়েছেন, আমরা স্যারের সঙ্গে আমরা ডিরেক্ট এই ইনস্টিটিউটে বহুবার আমরা সাক্ষাৎ লাভ করেছি এবং তার বক্তৃতাও আমাদের মুগ্ধ করেছে। তার স্ত্রী ডক্টর অর্চনা শর্মা। অধ্যাপিকা অর্চনা শর্মার জন্ম 1932 খ্রিস্টাব্দের 13ই ফেব্রুয়ারি মহারাষ্ট্রের পুনে শহরে। প্রাথমিক শিক্ষা লাভের পর উচ্চশিক্ষার জন্য কলকাতা বিশ্ববিদ্যালয়ের উদ্ভিদবিদ্যা বিভাগে 1960 খ্রিস্টাব্দে ডিএসসি ডিগ্রি লাভ করেন। তিনি দ্বিতীয় মহিলা যিনি কলকাতা বিশ্ববিদ্যালয় থেকে ডিএসসি লাভ করেন। পরবর্তীকালে অধ্যাপিকা শর্মা কলকাতা বিশ্ববিদ্যালয়ের অধ্যাপনায় যোগ দেন এবং 1980 খ্রিস্টাব্দে তিনি উদ্ভিদবিদ্যা বিভাগের প্রধান নিযুক্ত হন। ভারতের 3টি সায়েন্স একাডেমি তাকে ফেলো নির্বাচিত করেন। 1986 থেকে 87 খ্রিস্টাব্দে অধ্যাপিকা অর্চনা শর্মা ইন্ডিয়ান সায়েন্স কংগ্রেস অ্যাসোসিয়েশনের জেনারেল প্রেসিডেন্ট নির্বাচিত হন। কাউন্সিল অফ সায়েন্টিফিক অ্যান্ড ইন্ডাস্ট্রিয়াল রিসার্চ 1976 খ্রিস্টাব্দে তাকে প্রখ্যাত শান্তি স্বরূপ ভাটনগর পুরস্কার প্রদান করেন। 1974 খ্রিস্টাব্দে জে.সি. বোস অ্যাওয়ার্ড এবং 80 সালে ইউনিভার্সিটি গ্র্যান্ড কমিশন থেকে ন্যাশনাল লেকচারার ইত্যাদি উপাধি তিনি লাভ করেন। 1999 সালে লাভ করেন আশুতোষ মুখার্জি মেডেল। এছাড়াও পেয়েছেন ফিকির তরফ থেকে বিশেষ সম্মান এবং বীরবল সাহানি মেডেল। 1984 খ্রিস্টাব্দে তিনি জাতীয় সম্মান পদ্মভূষণে সম্মানিত হন। এরা দুজনেই অর্থাৎ ডক্টর অরুণ কুমার শর্মা এবং ডক্টর অর্চনা শর্মা ছিলেন নিরভিমান এবং প্রবল ধর্মানুরাগী। নিঃসন্তান হলেও অগণিত ছাত্রছাত্রীদের কাছে তারা উভয়ই পরম শ্রদ্ধার আসনে প্রতিষ্ঠিত ছিলেন। অধ্যাপিকা শ্রীমতী অর্চনা শর্মা অত্যন্ত ধর্মপরায়ণা ছিলেন। রামকৃষ্ণ মঠ ও মিশনের তদানীন্তন অধ্যক্ষ পরম পূজ্যপাদ শ্রীমৎ স্বামী শঙ্করানন্দজি মহারাজের কাছ থেকে তিনি মন্ত্রদীক্ষা লাভ করেন। ডক্টর অর্চনা শর্মা 14ই জানুয়ারি 2008 সালে রামকৃষ্ণ লোকে যাত্রা করেন। আজ যুগ্মভাবে ডক্টর অরুণ কুমার শর্মা এবং ডক্টর অর্চনা শর্মা স্মারক বক্তৃতা প্রদান করবেন। ইন্ডিপেন্ডেন্ট রিসার্চার শ্রী পিনাকি গাঙ্গুলি। তার বিষয় সম্পর্কে আপনারা আগেই জেনেছেন, কোয়ান্টা বেদান্তা ইন সার্চ অফ স্ট্রিং থিওরি অফ ফিজিক্স ইন এনশিয়েন্ট ইন্ডিয়ান থট।
So, there is a proverb which says that those who know do not speak, and those who speak do not know. So, I'm going to prove the second half of this proverb in the next 1 hour. So, be with me in this journey. And with that, I welcome you all for this talk. And a very good evening and pranam to everyone. My special thanks to Secretary Maharaj and Shayok and Dr. Lahiri for giving me this opportunity to stand here and speak. I am deeply humbled to stand at a place where stalwarts and real people whom we look up to have stood here and delivered lectures. So I am really grateful to Ramakrishna Mission, Gold Park, and Vivekananda Science Circle for giving this opportunity to me. So this opportunity of science has always been part of Swami Vivekananda's spiritual journey. So he was never devoid of that. During his visits in West, he had met many very famous scientists, including Nikola Tesla, and others whose documents are still available with us. Before I get into the subject, I would like to remember and send my gratitude and pranam to the two architects of my thought, Ravi Chakravarti and Kalim Khan, who has designed a new way of linguistic, which is called the verb-based semantics. And I have followed their works, although not directly as a student, but I have been very, very influenced with their work. And some of the things that you will see here is out of a dictionary that they both painstakingly have written for over 10 years for them to write. Okay, so I'm deeply indebted to both of them. I also must acknowledge that all great minds whose works and talks I follow, and special mention to Swami Sarvapriyanandaji and others through the gateway of digital or through print media. As Ekalavya sitting from behind the woods, I have learned from them. So I am deeply indebted to all the knowledge that I've got. So today my talk, as you know, is about modern physics and Vedanta. So modern physics has graduated primarily from a quantum physics to a string theory physics. And modern physics today is basically all about mathematics, because it's mind-bending mathematics, things that we cannot even imagine at our level, what level of mathematics that they are doing. But at the end of this thing, mathematics is logic. Primarily, mathematics is logic expressed in signs and symbols. So, the same thing, what they have come out with the truth through maths is also known to our rishis. But the technology they used was not written form of signs or symbols, but mostly sound. So all these things that has been expressed in equations can also be expressed in words, when every primary letter becomes a sound symbol. Please let me know if there is anything that is difficult for me, means if you want me to repeat something. So primarily what we are trying to say is sound is a symbol. That is also logos or linga. The word logos comes from linga, which means a sign, which means the finite expression of something. Like when you identify some car company or anything with a logo, right? Similarly, any idea can be captured in a form of a logo. So that's the basic thing. But maths stands on proof, and logic is that proof which is based on reason, right? Primarily. The rishis did the same thing using sound as a logo. And by doing that, it gave them a lot of more plasticity to express ideas in a varied way. And because Sanskrit is primarily a verb-based language, as opposed to English, which is a logocentric, or say if I'm standing here and I'm calling that as a table, if someone who has not seen a table in their life could not even imagine how it would look like. But when it comes to Sanskrit, because it describes the action or the verb that this is doing, we are able to visualize it. So that's the beauty of the language. And and so in that sense, one person can have multiple actions like we do all throughout the day. We take multiple actions, and for each action there is a name. So that's why our God, it's not a surprise that our gods have 108 names or 1008 names, because it defines one particular attribute of that person, right? Or our gods. So if you have to call your mobile phone with something like we call it cell phone. So because cell is because of the memory cell. We can call it as a mobile because you can walk around with it. So there are two names for the same thing, because both are describing its activity or function. Same thing is happening with our language, where we use that's why our gods have so many different names. I'll extend this example further, because it is very important that we all understand the importance of this sound, and there is a root meaning to each of this sound. All the alphabets that we have in Sanskrit, in Bengali, and in all the Indian languages has a similar sound meaning, a root meaning of a sound. Say for the sound of pa, the letter pa, it denotes the feeling of palon, which means to father, that's why it is said pita. Any word starting with pa will have a sense of palon or protection along with it. The same is also there in English language, but as a distant reflection, not directly. Another very interesting word is go, which means gomon or movement, and the root meaning of that gomon is application, is same in English where it says go, and that's why in Sanskrit also the go means a cow that can move. Go also means an arrow that moves. Okay, so if someone is reading a story in a Puranic story where it says that a go was flying through the sky and hitting the opponent, so it may sound very ridiculous to that person, but since the application of that word can be also an arrow, so it is very much possible that we understand in the right context of the word that has been used, judging from the sound. So in the Rig Veda, I think it's Shukta 108, where there is a story, and it's repeated in multiple Purans in different ways, that is about that is that the Panis are one category of people, primarily later on it was attributed to the traders, but Panis have stolen the cows, and Indra has sent Sharma, who is the mother of Yama or time, to get back the cows from them. So this incident is mainly, when you read that, it seems very childish to be part of a Rig Veda, right? Such a story. Why a cow? Someone stealing a cow, someone asking for that cows to come back. But when we understand it through the meaning of go or go as movement, and as the story says, because the cows were stolen, the entire universe was coming to a standstill. Because without a movement, there is nothing happening. Everything is moving at a very, very rapid speed. So what is happening is, in this Rig Veda story, we find that the movement has been stolen, and that's the allegorical part. So who stole it and all that? But it has happened before the birth of time. So time was born at the point of Big Bang, but this event is talking about some point of time which is before the Big Bang, which is, as per us, is the Hiranyagarbha stage of the universe, where everything was in a state of, in a golden womb of rays, and that's when there was no movement. So something has to be done to break that state of equilibrium, and that's where Vishnu's wish or desire to create a universe comes. It breaks the universe, it breaks the equilibrium, and then the universal creation starts from there. Okay, so that's how we have to read this. And now that you know that, okay, go it means gomon, and gomon is a movement, and you apply it in all the words that you know you will see that the meaning changes drastically. The other part is sound or meanings is also consciousness raiser. So if you are able to understand it in a different way, in the right way, in the most deepest sense of the word, your level of understanding, your consciousness level also improves over that. So that's why our rishis, by use of the sound forms, have gained such high level of consciousness and good access realms of truth that still today is hidden from all of us. Does this make sense to all of us? Right? Okay. So this is the crux of the next 1 hour. Keep this at the back of the mind, and also as we move through the details of this. So the biggest takeaway, what are you going to take away from this by spending this 1 hour with me, is that you will get some keys. So this what we have found out is no less than a Rosetta Stone that has helped decode the hieroglyphic of Egypt. Right? Now we can decode every word by word. And the moment we decode word by word, going by the root meaning of that particular sound in that word, we are able to come up with a very different meaning. And that meaning, and I'm not saying that the meaning that I'm going to show is the only one possible. There will be 100 other meanings possible. But this is one of the alternatives. So if I'm saying that, so if you think about it, there is no point in, if you think about it, that we have been talking about the Vedas as knowledge, or as books of knowledge, right? Vedas means knowledge, everyone knows that. So there was no reason to think that it is a book of religion and it has to be taught, because every walk of our life is science. And that's what the Vedas, the 4 Vedas and the Brahmanas and all that have inculcated it into our things, into our daily life. Like during marriage ceremonies, during any pujas that we perform, all is directed to certain part of the time, certain signs, and certain part of the year. So that's also very important to note. To end this introduction, I would say, in one sentence, if I have to explain this, that this whole universe is a journey from deep silence to sound. Okay, silence is infinite, sound is finitization of that infinite. So when I utter something, I am making the meaning restricted. And when it's not being uttered, it's unrestricted, infinite. So Brahman is the silence, is that infinite being, and sound is the manifested world of Maya, okay, which is continuously going through change, because sounds are vibrations in essence. Okay, so with that, I get into the subject. So I'll quickly touch upon. Take the case study of this verb. So this case study from a word of Vedanta. So if you just look at the word Vedanta, the normal meaning is that Vedanta means the Siddhantas of the Vedas. Okay, derived from 3 primary sources of the Gita, Brahma Sutra, and the Upanishads. So it is Ved plus Anta. Ved is knowledge coming from Ved, root, and Anta means the end of it. So that is the common meaning of the word. However, Dr. Arindam Chakraborty, whom I heard in one of the lectures, has been mentioned by Sarvapriyananda ji, is that he mentioned that Vedanta means the word Anta he interprets as edge, and which helps to cut the knowledge, ignorance, and hence it is being ascribed as the cutting edge of knowledge. Cutting edge of knowledge. The Vedanta is the cutting edge of knowledge. But when you apply the meaning of, so Ved is the word Ved basically means, V means the carrier. The bow is basically carrier. And it is like a truck full of knowledge. It is moving. That's the important thing. And the do at the end of it is basically denoting that it is dan, it is a donation, it is a gift that is coming. Okay, so it is Apurusha. So no one has authored that Vedas, but it is a gift from the gods that is there. So that is moving. Rigved, if you look at it, the structure, it talks about the mechanics of science of movement and motion. Samved, science of sound and harmony. Yajurved, technology, the application of the Rigved in terms of technology of rituals. And you have Atharva Ved, which is the Atharva means the other, basically. So that Atharva Ved means it captures all other walks of life, things that we need to know from a scientific lens. Okay, so there was no need to put a religious label on it. It was in it itself a complete science manual with, say, like today we have chemistry, physics, mathematics. So similarly, this was there already designed. When we look at it, the word Vedanta from the lens of verb semantics, what we find is that Ved plus on plus tha. Okay, so on is same meaning as in English on, to switch on, switch off, like that on, and it is that on is actually when you reach the zenith of something, and tha means to tide over, toron, okay, or to find a foothold, tall. So the moment you have, so the anta basically translates as, anta is the action of tiding over this world of ignorance with the support of the Vedas. So that's how the meaning changes. It's not only the conclusion of the Vedas, but it also helps you to manage your day-to-day life. It helps you to overcome your own miseries and sorrows by knowing this, the Vedanta in its right spirit. One example is the same thing. If you don't have that anta with the Ved, it becomes Vedana. Okay, the same word, change the end part, the Vedanta becomes Vedana, because if you don't have that knowledge of Vedanta. So anta, as also we know that its opposite is ananta. So anta basically is the finitization of the infinite, and I will be repeating this word many times because that's the core consciousness of the rishis, where they are visualizing everything as a manifestation, and every part of this universe is coming as to us in finite chunks, which that's why it is Maya. That's how the brain also understands. If it is infinite, if it is like a flowing river, it doesn't make sense to us. It's of no use. We have to have a bucket of water pulled out from the river for us to make sense. So it's a very, that's the bottom line of, and you'll see this repeated in text after text after text. So Vedanta is the ultimate specialized body of knowledge based on eternal Vedas that helps us to tide over our ignorance or avidya. Avidya in this sense is also, I just want to spend a minute on this. Avidya is not necessarily bad, okay? Because without that avidya, we are not able to manage the world around us. Without Maya, we are not able to manage the world around us. So if you have to, so today I am working on a laptop and I am typing something on the screen, but there is 1,000 operations. There are electrical switches and on and off is happening at the back, right? There is the circuit and everything is there. And then you have the 0 and 1 binary codes. So if you have to write, if 0 and 1 binary code is the truth, the ultimate truth of Brahman, you need a Maya level console to manage that 0 and 1. If you are given to that 0 and 1 to manipulate and write a sentence, it will take forever for us to write one thing. So it's Maya is the necessary thing, avidya is also necessary thing. But to know that what is the Maya and what is avidya, it helps us to know that what we are doing is not the final, but it will take us to some final positions or improved versions of ourselves. Okay. So with that, I move to the actual core area of the discussion, which is on string theory and string theory and Vedanta. Okay. So this is the evolution of matter. I'll start from the left-hand side. You have the visible universe of elements, where the Panchabhuta, space, air, fire, water, and earth. Then you have, these are made up of molecules. The Vyanuka, if it has 2 molecules, if it is 1 molecule hydrogen, then it's Anu. Then you have Onu, or atoms. Atoms are made up of Paramanu, the protons and neutrons. And then there is Parama means there is a sub-level of that, which is the quark, which is the final point particle. This is where, at the level of quark, initially the Greeks used to think atom was named because atom means the indivisible one. But later on, science, after 200, 300 years, have found out that, okay, quarks are the last point of a point particle, beyond which it cannot be sliced or diced more. So you cannot discretize or quantize it more. So that was up to quantum physics, where it ended with quarks, gluons, and the whole 17 fundamental particles that came out of this. After that, the string theory came in, and string theory introduced the concept of the guna, or strings. And these gunas or strings are one-dimensional vibrating strands of energy. Imagine those to be like a rubber band which is vibrating in space. So it is, that's how the point is also, the particle is made up of multiple strings. And the vibration of the string defines what particle is going to be created. So this part, when we look at the Sanskrit words, so we have a word already for that, which is the gunas, or three guna, Rajo, Shakto, and Tamas. Okay, so this things is already there with us in knowledge. In Shankho, it has been detailed out. So, and then not only that, we have we also say that this the Triguna is born from Ahankar. Ahankar is an output from Buddhi, and Buddhi, all these are grossification. And another core element of all this is that when it is at the time of creation, the subtle becomes gross. You become more heavier. Right? At a child which is born like a single cell, it will, when it's born, it is, I don't know how many, maybe 2 kgs of weight. Right? So the more you gain your weight, you become more gross on that. So that's how creation happens, and dissolution is the reverse. From a gross, you become more and more subtle. Okay. Another important thing that this is kind of what I found out is the core of the way when we even talk about Brahman, we talk about it as Sat, Chit and Ananda. But the imagery that we have of Sat, Chit and Ananda is that it is horizontal. Sat, Chit and Ananda. So these are the 3 attributes of Brahman. But when you position it the way I have done it on the slide, like you have the Sat element, which is the visible existent universe. Then you have the layer of in between of consciousness, which is continuously getting transformed into energy, and energy becoming more gross and becoming matter. And consciousness, this is our universe. And then beyond that universe, there is a layer. All these say Sat is all vibration. Chit, the vibration is reduced, but there is still vibration in that. And Ananda is basically a stage where there is no vibration. There is no guna. It is nirgun. It is devoid of attributes in that sense, because you cannot define it. You tell it in terms of neti, this, not this, not this. So Ananda is the substratum from which it is deriving this whole the source of this our universe, and source of our universe. So this Ananda is formed from the word A and Nanda. A means the Adhar or the substratum, and Nanda means the vibration, okay, of this universe. So if you are, so Ananda, the reason it is Ananda is not happiness and it is translated as bliss is primarily because in happiness there is motion, there is movement, there is vibration. In bliss you are more calm, you are settled. So that's the difference why we are calling it. Now coming to the gunas one more time. So I have pretty much explained it this way. So you have the 3 gunas. If you look at the bottom of the slide, you have the 3 guna. That is, and each gunas are the rubber band type strings. Then when they vibrate at certain frequencies, and they create these elementary particles of quarks, leptons, Higgs bosons, and Gauge bosons. Okay, and the photons is also there. So all these fundamental particles are created because of the vibrational difference. So that is the latest and greatest understanding of physics as of today. And it perfectly matches to what we have been talking all about. We have even gone one step further, and every time such a talk is given saying that, okay, Indians or the Hindu religion had already had it, we could not challenge, or we could not say predict something in before. But in this theory, as you can see, that the strings, what the Western science has ended at the string level, but we have gone one step further and classified into three parts of Sattva, Raja, Tamo. Okay, so I hope science, if we are right, science would find it someday. Modern science would find it someday. That strings are not just only one energy rubber band, but it also has three bands of energy. Okay. So again, going the linguistic, if you're interested, going by the linguistic route, it's Go means, again, as I said, Gomon. When U is added, it means that something is coming into a new form. Okay. So like in the name of Guru. Guru means they can Gomon, but Guru is something he's bringing knowledge in new form to you. There is the Veds, he knows the Vedas and the Puranas, but that knowledge what he gives is also, brings it in a new form. So that's the Guru. And so that is Guna, means basically starting from continuous movement and in a new form. It is in a continuous transformation stage. Okay. So things are, the complexity of this is going to increase a little more. And so this slide shows the evolution of forces. So starting from the Big Bang, and it says that when these fundamental forces of gravity, weak nuclear, electromagnetic, and strong nuclear force separated from one another. And you see the first one is from an undifferentiated state. The first one is Vishnu, or is the gravitation force. The second is Brahma, the strong nuclear force, and then you have Shiva, electromagnetic force, and fourth is the weak nuclear force. Okay, so this is exactly a copy of, or not a copy, but exactly what we have been hearing from our childhood, right? That the world was created when Vishnu had a desire, and Brahma appeared from his Nabhi Paddo and from his navel, and that's how then Brahma, the first thing that Brahma wanted is to create, was tasked to create more living entities and all. So he generated 4 Manas Putras. One of the name is Kumara, or Sanat Kumar. But they became ascetics and they did not go reproduce these 4 Manas Putras. So that infuriated Brahma. So what he did is, he, from his rage, from his third eye, fire appeared, and then from that fire Rudra Shiva was born. Okay, and later on Rudra Shiva was born in a Ardhanarishwar form of half male, half female. Then Brahma instructed Ardhanarishwar to be or Rudra to be segregated into 11 parts, 11 male part and 11 female part, and from there the whole creation started. And in between he also created Saraswati from his own body, and that's why Saraswati is referred as the wife and sister of Brahma. Okay, so this is the Puranic story, stories from the Purana, and this is exactly what we see the bifurcation happening. So next, see, this is very clearly done. It was just lying in front of us, and we never realized that Brahma does not interact in this world. He is in this universe. He is outside this whole thing. So that's the Nirgun Brahma. That means the Brahma which does not have those vibrational strings, which does not have those attributes. But Brahman actually executes or operates Maya through its delegate, which is called the Saguna Brahma, or the Brahman which has the attributes or has the gunas, or these three guna basically. And these three gunas, the Saguna with the vibration of Nanda, vibration means Nanda, as I said. And if you remember, if you recollect, there is an interesting story, like Lord Krishna, whose foster father's name is Nanda Raja, right? So similarly, so what it is doing in this universe, vibrations are keeping that gravity in as fostering or harboring or keeping that in this universe. Okay, gravity is it's very weak in this universe compared to any of the other forces. If gravity was strong, we would have been pulled down to the core of the earth. If that was gravity force was strong, but it's very weak in this universe, and it only operates in a vibrational form. So this is the unified field. I just going a little, not a little fast, but yeah, kind of. Okay. So then what happens is, so this is four forces unification. The reason that string theory in first place came into existence is that the standard quantum physics model could not accommodate for gravity. So when they could integrate all the other three forces, electromagnetic, strong nuclear and weak nuclear force, but they could not accommodate gravity, because gravity was defined by Einstein's general relativity theory, which is at a large scale, which is a distortion in the space-time fabric of space-time. So it wasn't been able to do that. So string theory was born out of that quest of unifying the four forces. But they created a small challenge for themselves, or something very unique happened in that process, is that this unification could not have happened in a normal 3 dimension of length, breadth, height, the world that we live in. So extra dimensions, 7 extra dimensions were added, and total of 11 dimensions today unifies all these 4 forces. I'll come to that a little later, but one important part is that this the universe works like a membrane. Okay, so there is a membrane, and then one of these is a galaxy on that, and this is kind of the computer simulation that has been created by, I think, space.org. So brains are 2-dimensional sheets. So imagine it like a sheet of paper on which we are one of the universe that is existing. Okay, there are other universes in there. So that's the model, and we have similar representations and artistic things which has been captured from whose source is basically the Purans and the Vedas. So brains are, as opposed to one thing I want to mention, is brains are basically 2-dimensional objects rather than strings which are 1 dimension. 1 dimension is a straight line, 2 dimension is a rectangle, and 3 dimension is a cube. So just keep that in the mind as we'll delve more into that part. So well, now we understood that, okay, what are these particles, what are they made of, but now we are going to touch upon the thing which is space, time and causality, which is the framework within which these strings or particles are operating. So you may be confused with this slide, I'm sure, because it talks of very different things. The one part is, I'll start with this on the right hand side. So we have been calling a triangle tribhuj from our early childhood, right? We know this word, tribhuj, chaturbhuj, and all that. So bhuj or bhuja, which basically means hand, and this bhuja has a unique property of determining that what is the how many dimensional space they are existing in. So this is being captured in the iconography of each and every god. So if you see some god is having 2 hands and some god is having 10 hands, so understand there is some qualitative difference in attributing those things to those gods. Okay. So similarly, when something bha is basically bha or bha basically means bha means when something comes to a stable state. Okay, like bhar or what, not getting too many names, or bhasha, because language which has come to a stable state, right? It's bhasha, bhakti. When you're stable, or you have a stable devotion towards some god, right? And so that is bha. But again, similar logic, like when it is you is added to that, it becomes something coming in a new form, and it shows that it is the bhu is showing that it is filling up an empty space with bha, or bha is in an active state. Okay, I'm not going into these technicalities, but know for as a starter that we live in a 3-dimensional space. But if there is if I am walking on this carpet, it looks to me, it may have a very slight thickness, but normally it's a 2-dimension, length and breadth, but it may have a small thickness, so it's a 3-dimensional for me. But imagine if there is a ant who is walking through on this carpet, it is going and taking into the different, like you see that way, it is experiencing much more dimensions. So dimensions are nothing but the degree of freedom of movement. So I can, we all can move in 3 directions, right? Top down, right, left, back and forth, right? So this ant can move in many more dimensions than what we can. So that's the key for understanding dimensions. And this Calibu manifold space is saying that these extra dimensions are compactified, and it is just lying somewhere. It's here also, right? It's just that it is beyond our perception, because we are operating in a very limited perception bandwidth. So we can see that Devi Durga with 10 hands may denote 10-dimensional space is where she is operating. Kali, on the other hand, denotes a 4-dimensional operation for her. She's in a 4-dimensional space and 1 dimension of time. So this may most probably be a symbolism for unifying time and space as a Shiva Shakti unification. Okay. So this is very, very important iconographic depiction. Moving on, this 10D space is, see, there is only 2 candidates in this 10 dimensions, and these are both are called Mahamaya. Maya is this inner circle of where we are there, and time is 1 dimension. We have these fundamental forces, and everything is vibrating, which is depicted as a Rudra Nataraj vibrant dance. And this is our realm of 4 dimensions, means it is just 4 dimensions of space and not including time. Time is a separate dimension. And the bigger circle, is the Mahamaya, where you have only Durga as the space, and Vishnu, the gravity, is supplying that energy from the extra dimensions. Okay. I'll just, how much time do I have? Maybe 10 minutes? Okay. So Similarly, for Shiva iconography, Kala Bhairav is defined as the time dimension, which is the terrifying form of Shiva, and it has again 4 hands. And today we only know about one dimension of time, which is back to front, okay, past to present, and moving to the future. That's the arrow of time. That's the one dimension. But science today is coming up with more extra dimensions of time, and there are probable candidates for it. Retrocausal with 2 dimensions, where the past or the future is impacting the present. Something will happen in the future. That's why, say for example, I was supposed to give a talk today. That's why I came back from London, say 3-4 years back. So these retrocausal events are being tied to one another, and then it is a probability. Okay, today it had rained, so this talk would have been cancelled. So then probability would have changed. So that's how these events, everything in this time and space is an event that can change. And retrocausal is basically when the past future is impacting the present. Then you have a quantum time travel. That is basically your tunneling and going and traversing through time, where you have, that's one level. And the final is the parallel universe. If you have multiple universe, then obviously there is a parallel universe, and then there is a wormhole that is being possible, and the time dimension will run in the opposite direction in that parallel universe. So these are all probable, hypothetical things that are being discussed. To be honest, I haven't found direct reference of this in our text till date. Maybe somewhere it's there, but till date I haven't found that. But this is the 4 teaser, what science is saying today. Okay, continuing with goddess Durga, we have, so Mahishasur, Asur is, the Rig Veda is saying Asurs are beyond the sky, beyond the earth, not sure how Asuras came into existence. Atharva Veda is saying Asuras have metal nets with hooks that is nature of Asura Maya, which only Agni can break. So Asuras are the invisible force of invisible energy that is creating that has a beneficial effect on this universe as well, because Asuras were the original gods of the Rig Vedas, like Varuna the Asura, and others were Varuna, Mitra. So these guys were also thought to be greater, but at some point of time meanings changed and things changed a lot, and Asuras were tainted to be something bad. But definitely Asuras are some invisible force that is either obstructing creation, like Indravatra fight that has happened, and then Mahishasura and Durga war, the battle that had happened. Okay, so Mahishasura we can understand from the linguistic part. Mahi is the great and together. So something which is Mahi is basically, it means that it is great and everything is together contained in that. Mahisha, when we add this Sa, it becomes Shakti. It adds the strength, it has the power. Okay, so that is the power that was restricting Durga to create this universe. So Durga had to slay this with none other than Trishul. And Trishul, the three of that Trishul is the Triguna, Rajatamo and Sattva. So it is clearly that with the help of these gunas or strings, or you can talk about, there is also this, because Trishul came from Shiva, it is an electromagnetic something, and they killed the Mahishasur. And only then the universal creation could be possible. This happened on the moment of when we do the Shandhi Puja during the Durga Puja time, and that's the point when Mahishasur was defeated. And after that, interestingly, till the point I do Durga Puja myself. So after that point of time, the 10 hands of Durga changes to 4 hand of Chandi. Okay, so Chandi form comes after the Sandhi Puja, where it is the 4 hands are depicted. And the Astra, okay, I'll skip that, but basically Astras means something that protects. Okay, it doesn't have to be a fierce Brahmastra or something like that. Even say Astra, even the self in your cell phone, if you have a cover and a screen guard, that is also an astra that helps it to be protected from outside damages, right? So similarly, all the astras also give us very specific attributes of things that this god or symbolizes. Okay, and we can follow that trail and get a lot of more insights into what we have. Coming to the retrocausal, where that I was saying that future is impacting my present. If you all may have remembered this, that in the Vishwarup Darshan of Bhagavad Gita, there you have the Krishna saying to Arjuna that Ami shabaike purbei nihoto koriya rakhiyachi, tumi shudu nimitto matro. So that thing, and he had showed that life inside his mouth, and basically things, the idea of retrocausality was very much present with our rishis. So that much I can claim. And again, this starts with Maya and all that. Okay. So the content of creation, the reason, see, one of the aspects of doing Durga Puja is that this is the kalash that means we normally worship. In every puja, even if you don't have the idol or the murti of the god, this kalash itself is enough. Because primarily we are praying to a very primordial god of creation. That is what we are doing. And we are doing it in a various forms and shapes. So Kalash, and if you see the mantra, it says that on the top it is Vishnu, in the Quanta, basically the neck, it is Rudra. At the bottom there is, at the mool is Brahma, and in between or the Matrigana, the female entities that basically creates this universe of multiple forms, or the Shatarupas, that it creates the multiple form. So that is the how, and even if you see on the left hand side, yeah. So this is again a picture from that shows that Big Bang is not the point of creation. It is not the starting point of creation. There was an older universe before that, and the same thing is in the structure. I just put these two pictures together to show that at least idea-wise there was a conceptual similarity between how they were viewing this universe as a totality. Finally, this is something, again, I don't know if you have noticed it this way. There is a formation that we worship during the Durga Puja. And this formation is where you have Durga and the 10 Dashabhuja Durga at the center. And then on the right hand side you have the family of Vishnu, where he's denoted in the form of Ganesh. If you look, Ganesh is carrying the 4 astras, Shankha, Chakra, Gada and Padma, which is exactly the same as Vishnu, and with the consort of Lakshmi. Okay, that's Vishnu's consort. Those two are together on the left hand side, the gravity family, if you can call it. And on the right hand side is the Brahma and the Shiva family, which is embodied in that Kartikeya. So the story of Kartikeya's birth is very interesting, where there was the gods were being threatened and then by the Asuras and Rakshasas. So they needed a Senapati. So Brahma came up with the idea that, okay, we'll put all our energy and thing together to create a person who can save us from all these evils. So Kartik was designed and conceptualized by Brahma, So there is his inputs are there. And there was no better father for Kartikeya other than Shiva. So Shiva's semen fell on the Ganga and it became a ball of fire. And from that Kartik was born as Kandha. And then there was 6 Kartikas as mothers who fostered and brought up Kartika. And look at the wife or who is standing beside as a sister in this case, but it is Saraswati, who is Brahma's consort. Okay, so left hand is the Brahma Vishnu gravity family, and then you have the Brahma family, and then you have Durga in the center, and behind that it is the imperceptible time of Shiva, which is behind this all. Okay, so this is a thing that we hardly realize, that during Durga Puja we are actually not worshipping the feminine entity, but we are actually worshipping the entire cosmos, the creation story of us. So that's the beauty of this. Okay, I'll quickly run through this. So again, as I said, Big Bang was not the beginning. So here is some quotes and all, which I'm not going through, but I'll make this available at some point in terms of a book or something, or a blog, and you can take it from there. This is just to give you a visual clue of a multiverse. So imagine a loaf of bread. Okay, each one of these bulge is a universe inside which we are existing. Okay, and this may be a black hole, this may be something, and we are on this 2-dimension brain, and one of this is our universe, which with very different set of physical laws, where the value of each physical laws are different in our universe than in another universe. And see this, what our Shanti mantra says. Om, that is whole, this is whole. From that whole comes forth this whole. Taking the whole from the whole remains unchanged. So that's the concept, which exactly says, if you take out a whole or a bubble, from a soda bottle you take out a bubble, the bubble is still there, it just transforms into water and still again comes back as bubble. So the whole comes out from a whole and still a whole remains. I think this is the last of this. So cyclic universe, again, I think most of us are very well aware that our concept of time is not a linear one, it is a cyclic one, where it is conceived as a cycles of time, and the one universe is equal to the one life or 100 years of Brahma, which basically equals to 311 trillion Earth years. And today, the age of this universe is 13.7 billion years. So we are at a fraction of that time, of the duration of this universe. It's supposed to go on. So we are at an infant stage in terms of the entire creation of this kalpa. And that's why we see an acceleration in the universe. The universe is acceleratingly expanding, like a baby would acceleratingly expand in its early stage. Similarly, this universe is also in its baby form, and it's expanding at a rapid pace. Okay, so all this, what does it boil down to? Can we come up with a very simple equation like a E equal to mc squared that defines the mass and energy transformation? So to my understanding, as a simplified formula for, or an equation would be Brahman is equal to Atman, that is Brahman equal to Atman into prana. So you have the consciousness and energy merging to create prana, changing to become a prani at every point, and everything is captured inside this. So Brahman is Atman into prana, creating this prani jagat, which is moving, continuous moving with energy. So that's the entirety of what we can see around us. Okay. So Finally, does this theory or this concepts that I have been talking about, does this satisfy what the Vedantic core Vedantic doctrines say? To my understanding, it is yes. The ultimate reality is Brahman. We have shown that Vedanta asserts that I'm not able to see this. Okay, his deputy Ishvara. So we have this Saguna Brahma and Brahman and Nirguna Brahman. The Saguna Brahman is the vibrational string universe of the gunas, and doctrine of Maya. Yes, we are basically able to establish that fact because Brahman exists at a higher dimension of space-time. This is how the concept of illusion or veiling or power of the Brahman. So Maya is being veiled by Brahman. And these two Mahavakyas, Tattvamasi and Aham Brahmasmi, because Aham Brahmasmi, we very frequently use that word Aham Brahmasmi in the context saying that I and Brahman is the same. But in reality, I and Brahman is qualitatively same. I and Brahman is not potentially same. So I am the finite expression of that infinite Brahman. But again, we are being made of the gunas or the strings or whatever fundamental particles. So we are qualitatively same, but not potentially same. So it won't be right to say always, unless you self-realize it or graduate to that level of awareness where we can call ourselves to be illumined minds and called Aham Brahmasmi. I'll just run through this summary of all this because this I want you to take back with you and start thinking and see if you can add, corroborate with me, and we can do something together. So what we have been talking about essentially in terms of bullet points is the universe is an evolution from consciousness to energy to matter, from subtle to gross. Strings, one-dimensional energy bands or guna, evolving from the ahankar or consciousness at a gross level. Maya is the measurable finite universe made up of vibrating strings, which is Rudra. Vishnu is gravity, is the firstborn, then Brahma, strong nuclear, Shiva, electromagnetic, and Saraswati, weak nuclear. Saguna Brahma, Ishvara, is the unified field in nature with its constants. We live in a 10-dimensional bhuja space, but inside a 10-dimensional bhuja, but we experience only a 3-dimensional space. We are born out of an earlier universe, Hiranyagarbha, the womb of light, was created from merger of energy and consciousness. This is also important because every time before the Durga Puja we have the Mahalaya, right? What is this Mahalaya? Laya means it is Mahalaya, Pralaya are all same word. Basically it is the merger from the earlier universe, everything coming into a melting pot, and it is being merged in an undifferentiated state, and again this universe, none other universe springs up. So that is the idea. Universe is deterministic and retrocausal. Saguna Brahma or brains, which is the material and efficient cause of the universe. There are innumerable universes with each having their own physical properties. I think that's Big Bang is not the beginning. Energy and consciousness are continuously recycled. So recycled is Amrita. So anything which is, so we say Amrita means not without a death, right? Mrityu is death and Amrita is not death. But anything which is recycled, say I read a newspaper and make it into a paper bag. So it's continuously, it's not dying, it is being transformed into one state to another. That's also kind of an Amrita, okay, where there is no death to that. Big Bang is not the beginning, okay, I spoke about that. Cyclic universe, we are in a cyclic universe bubble universe sprouts on an infinite gravitational field, where Krishna is the gravity, is the works on the kshetra, and in the Gita it says, I am the kshetra and the kshetragya. So Bhagavan Krishna says that. And I think this is the last. Okay. And thank you everyone for your time. It has been a pleasure talking on this. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Consciousness, energy, and mass, this is single dimension.
Yeah.
As per string theory.
Yeah.
And by string theory, the vibration occurs and vibration creates everything.
Yes.
Is that vibration is the same amplitude, same frequency for all the creatures?
No.
It differs.
It differs.
And it differs in it got any limit or something?
Yeah, normally it is, as per string theory, there is 192 degree of vibrations possible. There is a degree of freedom that the strings can vibrate, say, depending on the instrument you use. Say if you are playing a guitar, it has a range of sound that it can create. If you're playing a sitar, it creates a different range of sound. So similarly, these vibrational patterns also changes at a different dimensional level. Yes, yes. That's the maximum possible. That's the...
Only poster দিক আছে আমাদের maximum 12 দিক north east south east north west south west north
না, দিকের সাথে বেলালে হবে না.
is there more other
No, no, it is dik and lok is not the same thing. Dik হচ্ছে direction. হ্যাঁ, ঈশান কোণ, এই কোণ, সেটা. হ্যাঁ, that is the direction, but this is the dimension. Dimension and dimension এর মধ্যে there is a difference. This is only the level of movement possible. Okay, you can only go back and forth, up and down, and left to right. Right? So that is the dimension. But dik can be more. So if you divide it into 16 parts, it becomes 16 dik. Because somewhere you will find 10 dik. There somewhere you will find 4 dik.
is there any limit of this thing?
No, not for dik. Dik, I haven't spoken about dik at all. So dik is separate, but the dimension is bhuja, or that is separate, or lok. So 10 dimensions of time, 4 dimensions of space.
Any more questions? Please come here.
So I was listening that correlation between Brahman and string theory.
Yeah.
That you were describing. My guess is our famous scientist from string theory, Professor Ashok Sen of Bangalore.
No, he's in Lucknow.
No,
Allahabad.
no, not really. ICTS Bangalore. Please look at him.
Okay.
And please consult with him.
Hmm.
He's a famous string theory scientist.
Yeah, I know.
More than Nobel Prize he got.
Yeah, I know that. But I thought he's in Allahabad.
No, not.
Okay.
I'm perfectly sure. about
Okay,
that.
okay.
ICTS,
Okay,
International Center for ICTS, Theoretical Science,
okay.
Bangalore,
Yeah, thank you.
part of PIL.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Mr. Ganguly,
Yeah.
first of all, I would like to say that when concerned to the area of creation, we often refer Mother Earth as to be the bestowing power of the creation, what is within the entity of the universe in the form of life. Mother Earth is being represented as Parvati in Hindu concept, and as Gaia in the Greek or Hellenic concept, the equal representation of creation, Mother Earth. And right now, whatever else you have told right now or depicted in graphics picture, these are merely analogous features what we can assume the energy to be. Like a painter is painting some kind of form of flow or any kind of state that is being represented in any kind of dimensional activity or in the framework of his paintings. So these are basically the analogous features and the forms which we usually found. Like for a particular case of a pneumatic system or a hydraulic system or a electrical system, there are consequent equal analogous representatives like a resistor in the form of an electric circuit. We find as a pneumatic actuator equivalent to that. So these are basically our assumptions, our practical theories, which we've represented in the dimensional form or in the pictorial form. So what I try to infer is that these are basically our mindscape, which is making us to feel it like that as per our religious conventions, and we are making the pictograms like that.
Is it a question? Or because
Yeah,
I
this is my
agree with your
observation.
statement.
This is my observation.
Okay. Yeah.
What we could perceive.
Yeah, but just on the first part, I haven't spoken about Mother Earth at all.
No, it is my particular conclusion which I feel that needs to be
No,
given,
that's
because
very-
that's what in the concept of Hindu
Yeah.
and the Hellenic religious area.
Yeah. I was just thinking it was a question for me, that's why I asked. Yeah.
Thank you, Pinakida. It was a very interesting talk.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah, I'm glad I could make it. So my question is very simple. I think if you can go back to your slide on evolution of Atman.
Evolution of Atman.
One of the first few slides. So my very basic question is, how are you drawing equivalence between Guna and string theory?
So that's the linguistic sound basis.
But other than the linguistic part of it, is there any other explanation?
No, that's the dictionary meaning. If you go and look in the dictionary, in any Bengali or Sanskrit dictionary, you will get that same meaning, that gunas mean string or chord. So that's the string. That's the definition I have put in here.
Okay, and in that case, about the three gunas and the elementary particles based on string theory, how? I'm just trying to understand. I mean, how are we drawing equivalence between the two?
That's exactly I was talking about. This is the sound. The meaning of these two words are same in two dictionaries. Sound-wise also, if you see the breakup, it starts with ga, which is the movement. When you add the u, it gunas. When you add the horseshoe, basically, it becomes coming in a new form. And na is to keep it in an active state. Okay, so some entity. See, it is. You have to define it, because even if with the word string, if you think about the word string, and if you have not seen the word string, if you have not seen a string before in your life, you cannot imagine that. But with this thing, you can imagine that there is something that's moving, continuous moving, and generating new forms. So that's the correlation between those two. It's from a sound perspective. Okay. It's from a verb or etymology, or because Sanskrit is a verb-based language. That's it.
Got it. Okay.
One question. You means Quanta Vedanta. Quanta is packet of energy, right?
Yeah, the smallest discrete packet of energy.
So that means this packet of energy or is created by consciousness, or is getting rise from consciousness.
It is coming from consciousness, absolutely right.
Okay.
From ahankar to triguna to guna, basically, which is the one energy, discrete energy of packet.
So this packet of energy is remaining unmanifested in consciousness. So it is getting created as a universe.
Yes, it is getting created. And in some models, it is the space and time is not itself fundamental. So you kind of create it on the go. You need to have some event, so you create the space and time for it. Because it's all mental. That's where this thing is going. And every movement or the vibration is an information. Behind all this thing that is happening, it's a huge information exchange theory that is being played out.
Yes.
That's exactly what I was trying to say.
Right, thank you.
I think we should thank the speaker, for the talk. Just one more, because this is getting late. The short questions you can do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, in the classification of forces, so that there you mentioned about the gravitational force that correlates with Shiva and the electromagnetic
No.
force that correlates with the electromagnetic force that correlates with
Yes.
Shiva and the gravitational force correlates with Vishnu.
Yeah.
So, from where these
There is-
correlations are coming, that I couldn't understand.
Yeah, that is good. This is a good question, yeah. Because there is, I have, let me see where it is. First of all, these slokas, and then I have taken it out from here. So you have these, the correlation is coming from these names. Okay, so say for Shankarshan is one of the name of Krishna. Okay, so basically Shankarshan is that attracts. So that's one of the feature of gravity, because it attracts. Okay, it keeps things in its place. So another name of Vishnu is Achyuta. So it doesn't let you move. It is another name is, so Krishna itself is there for Karshan. Okay, Shamkarshan Krishna is there. Then you have so basically, to answer your questions in brief, it is all coming from these names which are attributes of that particular thing. Like Mahakal is time. So if I equate Shiva with Kal or time, so there is should not be a problem in that case. So similar way, all these names are, Saraswati means the downward flow of energy. Okay, that's exactly happens in a weak nuclear interaction.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much
Thank you, sir.
for the talk. And we should end here because unfortunately the staff has to go home who came in the early mornings. So we should let them go. Otherwise, this should have continued further. Thank you.
Thank you so
for
much.
coming.